Today we will be exploring the ongoing effects of dispossession on Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders and the process of resolving these issues in current times. Dispossession is a factor that has an ongoing influence on the spirituality of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, dating all the way back to the 18th of January 1788 when the first fleet arrived at Port Jackson. This idea of dispossession carries both physical and spiritual meaning. The physical dispossession of the native people involves the taking of children, childhood, family, and the land away, which was experienced the most throughout the 1900s, when the stolen generation would take away from their families. Spiritual dispossession involves the deeper meanings behind these symbols, such as their deep spiritual connection to the land being lost, the importance of the totems, skin names, and moiety. The federal government announced the establishment of laws that authorized the Aboriginal children to be separated from their parents in the early 1990s. This continued for over a century, where thousands of Aboriginal children were taken from their families and placed in institutions, adopted by non-Indigenous guardians, and were victims of abuse. This led to a huge amount of grief and trauma, as well as loss of connection to their land, family, culture, and language. Auntie Julie Black was a survivor of the stolen generation, who faced multiple challenges throughout her childhood. As a child, Julie was taken from her family and put into a new white family. As of the age of 4, she was locked inside a room for hours on end for most days. She was constantly abused and reminded of her position in society as a black savage, and told that she would be who they wanted her to be. Julie's lifelong dreams as an artist were also taken from her, as she was told that she was to become a nurse whether she wanted to or not. This treatment left Julie with a false childhood, misunderstanding of moral treatment, and generational trauma. The stolen generation had to undergo tremendous loss in childhood connectedness to people and spirituality. Early land dispossession began in 1804, when the Eora people were stolen from. This land was stripped of its natural resources and sacred sites were left unprotected. As well as being stolen, the land that was owned by the Islander peoples was regarded as unclaimed prior to the British Crown taking possession of it. This action was described using the term terra nullius, translating from Latin to land belonging to no one. The land is a crucial part of the Aboriginal culture and identity, as it forms the connections that they have with others, ancestors, and belief systems surrounding the dreaming. When their land was taken, the Aboriginals suffered a loss of identity and culture as they were unable to fulfill rituals and responsibilities that created bonds between family, ceremonial life, and kinship. Kinship is a central aspect of the culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Among other things, kinship provides identity, relationship bonds, culture, and ceremonial life that dictates the living of these people. This big idea of kinship can be split into 3 different subtopics: skin names, totems, and moiety. Skin names are given names that identify the link between generational bloodlines based on inheritance from either parent. These names are important to the identity of an individual and the Torres Strait Islander community. Totems are spiritual symbols that are often in forms of plants and animals that define people's relationships as well as roles and responsibilities within their community. These symbols are often provided in groups of around 4, with each representing a different element of their connections to their culture. This could include the inherited nation, clan, family group, and their own assigned totem that they are obliged to look after in their natural environment. This is crucial to maintaining the responsibilities and ceremonial rituals that are done as part of the Aboriginal culture. Moiety refers to the belief system that shapes the structure of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders culture. This belief states that everything in the world is considered half of a whole, or a mirror of the world, where these 2 halves must come together for a person to understand the universe. This shapes the beliefs and supports the ideas of reasoning behind certain rituals and ceremonies done in this culture. The separation of these individuals from their land, people, and kinship deprives the Torres Strait communities of their livelihood, as these factors shape their day-to-day living and provide spiritual belief systems that guide the ceremonies and rituals that they perform to uphold their faith in the belief systems. Generational trauma is an ongoing consequence of the dispossession and oppression of the Aboriginal people.